All right, let's do it.
Lesson 194.
Shoot, I have my speakers on.
I place the future in the hands of God. Today's idea takes another step toward quick salvation, and a giant stride it is indeed.
All right, right out the gate, this guy his voice is beautiful, but there's an exclamation point. So I'm going to reread that sentence. Today's idea takes another step towards quick salvation, and a giant stride it is indeed. All right.
So great the distance is that it encompasses, it sets you down just short of heaven, with the goal in sight and obstacles behind. Your foot has reached the lawns that welcome you to heaven's gate, the quiet place of peace where you await with certainty the final step of God. How far are we progressing now from earth? How close are we approaching to our goal? How short the journey still to be pursued?
So, as we're practicing forgiveness, we're going through a purification. This is a stage of awakening. We see our projections outward and inward. We're either projecting guilt and shame on others or onto ourselves, and those are layer by layer being forgiven and turned over to the Holy Spirit and erased in our mind. And then what's left is our divinity.
Accept today's idea, and you have passed all anxiety, all pits of hell, all blackness of depression, thoughts of sin, and devastation brought about by guilt.
Okay, I love the way he said that. This is huge. Accept today's idea, and you have passed all anxiety, all pits of hell, all blackness of depression, thoughts of sin and devastation brought about by guilt. Isn't that awesome? As we forgive our projections of guilt, that guilt is healed, erased, alchemized out of the mind.
Accept today's idea, and you have released the world from all imprisonment by loosening the heavy chains that locked the door to freedom on it. You are saved, and your salvation thus becomes the gift you give the world because you have received. In no one instant is depression felt, or pain experienced, or loss perceived. In no one instant sorrow can be set upon a throne and worshipped faithfully. In no one instant can one even die.
Wow. In no one instant can one even die.
And so, each instant given unto God in passing, with the next one given him already, is a time of your release from sadness, pain, and even death itself.
The fear of God goes out the window with this lesson, along with the fear of death.
God holds your future as he holds your past and present. They are one to him, and so they should be one to you. Yet in this world, the temporal progression still seems real. So you are not asked to understand the lack of sequence really found in time. You are but asked to let the future go and place it in God's hands. And you will see by your experience that you have laid the past and present in his hands as well, because the past will punish you no more, and future dread will now be meaningless. Release the future. For the past is gone, and what is present, freed from its bequest of grief and misery, of pain and loss, becomes the instant in which time escapes the bondage of illusions, where it runs its pitiless, inevitable course. Then is each instant which was slave to time transformed into a holy instant. when the light that was kept hidden in God's Son is freed to bless the world. Now is he free, and all his glory shines upon a world made free with him to share his holiness. If you can see the lesson for today as the deliverance it really is, you will not hesitate to give as much consistent effort as you can to make it be a part of you.
So Jesus knows that I forget and I lose my focus and my mind gets distracted. So here he is gently addressing that. You will not hesitate to give as much consistent effort as you can to make it part of you.
As it becomes a thought that rules your mind, a habit in your problem-solving repertoire, a way of quick reaction to temptation, you extend your learning to the world. And as you learn to see salvation in all things, so will the world perceive that it is saved.
So, a way of quick reaction to temptation. So this is really important, to be non-reactive to the ego's world, to what the ego is perceiving in the mind. So he wants us to grab for these tools in the toolbox, and we should have a lot of thoughts in our toolbox now, being students of A Course in Miracles. And when we are tempted to be reactive, ego reactive to the ego's projections, the ego's in an insane war with itself, and it thinks it's at war with God. When we learn non-reaction, we reach for the tools of the Holy Spirit.
What worry can beset the one who gives his future to the loving hands of God? What can he suffer? What can cause him pain or bring experience of loss to him? What can he fear? And what can he regard except with love? For he who has escaped all fear of future pain has found his way to present peace, and certainty of care the world can never threaten. So, the metaphysics of the Course talk about shadows of the past, and the ego experienced itself as beaten, bludgeoned, done wrong, betrayed, abandoned, and the ego fears relationships now, it fears love now, and it fears punishment in the future. That's all the ego. And so Jesus is trying to get us to resonate as Christ divine, and Christ divine, in a good way, has no future and has no past. It's right now with God. We are Christ divine, right now with God, and it's always right now. He is sure that his perception may be faulty, but will never lack correction. He is free to choose again when he has been deceived, to change his mind when he has made mistakes. So, he is free to choose again when he has been deceived. This is not an external deception. This is an internal deception in my mind telling me that somebody has rejected me or wronged me or judged me, right? That's deception. So I would turn that over to the Holy Spirit and pull out a tool from the Holy Spirit's thought system. Place then your future in the hands of God, for thus you call the memory of him to come again, replacing all your thoughts of sin and evil with the truth of love. Think you the world could fail to gain thereby, and every living creature not respond with healed perception? Who entrusts himself to God has also placed the world within the hands to which he has himself appealed for comfort and security. He lays aside the sick illusions of the world along with his, and offers peace to both. Now are we saved indeed. For in God's hands we rest untroubled, sure that only good can come to us. If we forget, we will be gently reassured. If we accept an unforgiving thought, It will be soon replaced by love's reflection. And if we are tempted to attack, we will appeal to him who guards our rest to make the choice for us that leaves temptation far behind. No longer is the world our enemy, for we have chosen that we be its friend.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Let's go over this last paragraph. Now we are saved indeed, for in God's hands we rest untroubled, sure that only good can come to us, right? We've stepped away from the ego's thought system that believes in pain and punishment, suffering. If we forget, we will be gently reassured. So if we slip out of our Christ divine into the ego's thought system, we will be reassured. If we accept an unforgiving thought, it will soon be replaced by love's reflection because we're willing to forgive, right? And if we are tempted to attack, right, because the ego in our mind is cunning and baffling, and it will always tell us we're being attacked by everything. And we believe that in subtle ways and in monstrous ways. And if we are tempted to attack, we will appeal to him who guards our rest to make the choice for us that leaves temptation far behind. No longer is the world our enemy because we are not choosing the ego, for we have chosen that we be its friend. Beautiful. So beautiful.